friends. This is the program Empire of Lies, where we discuss manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media. 60 Minutes and the Cult of the Deal, how Skabeeva turns war into a TV series about strong leaders. Olga Skabeeva's broadcast on November 3rd, 2025, continues the line established in Evening with Solovyov. The world is shown as a stage, where the main actors are Putin and Trump, and everything else is noise and background. Formally, the episode is dedicated to Tomahawks and nuclear escalation, but in essence, it is a television epic about Western confusion, Russian resilience, and the inevitability of a multipolar world. 1. Tomahawks for Zelensky, the West again playing the role of provocateur. The program opens with an alarming thesis. Trump has not abandoned the idea of giving Ukraine Tomahawks, as if this were the start of a new world war. The usual pattern follows. The US is preparing a strike against Russian oil and gas infrastructure. The EU is going bankrupt but can't stop. Zelensky is bankrupt and forced to steal Russia's frozen reserves. This is how the narrative is constructed. The West isn't fighting for Ukraine, it's waging war against Russia. Ukraine is merely a tool, the vultures, a metaphor for the EU. The main emotional hook is the fear of Tomahawks, but it's embedded in the familiar formula. They crossed the red line again, but Russia is strong and ready. 2. Trump as a media hero. Between Messiah and Businessman Next comes a sharp shift in tone. Trump becomes the central figure. His speeches are reproduced almost in their entirety, with intonations of triumph, humor, and confidence. Skabeeva portrays him as a pseudo-peacemaker, whose phrases "we've ended war 8 times" sound not absurd, but a sign of strength. The presenter emphasizes Trump again promises to end the Ukrainian war, impressed Putin, is negotiating with Xi. A symmetry of leaders is established on the screen. Putin is a weapons maker, Trump is a deal maker, Europe is an extra. Thus, the television report transforms the conflict into a dialogue between two superpowers, where the fate of Ukraine and Europe is merely a derivative of the decisions of strong men. It appears that a new round of escalation has emerged, as US President Trump hasn't abandoned the idea of providing Zelensky with a Tomahawk. It's possible that the Tomahawk could be transferred to Zelensky through third countries. This was stated by permanent representative to NATO Matt Whitaker. According to him, the main target for American cruise missiles will be Russia's oil and gas infrastructure and defense industry enterprises. European Commission President von der Leyen acknowledged that the Ukrainian front is currently being fought exclusively with Western weapons, and if these supplies are stopped, the Ukrainian front will collapse. Zelensky's financial problems are also worsening. 3. The economic front, sanctions as a spectacle. A separate section is devoted to sanctions against Russian oil. Here, the rhetoric is built on parodic inversion. Trump plays sanctions like a card. It's not the sanctions that have the real impact, but the weather in Primorsk. Exports are falling not because of politics, but because of a strong wind. This is a typical Kremlin television ploy, deflecting responsibility by turning economic processes into natural phenomena. If oil isn't flowing, it's the waves' fault, not Washington's. 4. Europe as a powerless hostage. After the economic segment, there's a series of disparaging portraits of European politicians. Ursula von der Leyen, a hawk demanding war to the last Ukrainian. Italian Defense Minister Crosetto honestly admits that Kyiv won't win. The EU puzzling over how to steal Russian assets. Each quote fits into a scenario in which Europe is torn by contradictions, tired, cynical, and dependent on the US. This serves as an ideological cushion for the key assertion: everything is decided not in Brussels, but in Washington and Moscow. 5. Burevestnik and technological superiority, Russia as a wonderland. Towards the end, the story shifts to a theme echoing Solovyov's Burevestnik. Skabeeva quotes the Wall Street Journal. The US tried to create a nuclear cruise missile in the 20th century, but failed, while Russia did. The conclusion is stated bluntly: the Russians succeeded. This is not a news report, but a ritual confirmation of superpower status. The missile becomes a symbol of the superiority of a civilization that can do anything, even what the Americans couldn't. Think, analyze, draw conclusions, and don't be fooled. This was the program Empire of Lies.